Randall Cunningham endured an NFL record 72 sacks in 1986, a punishment that would have broken most quarterbacks. Yet from this crucible emerged something extraordinary, a phoenix rising from the trenches. For 7 straight seasons, Cunningham threw for over 3,000 yards and rushed for more than 200, becoming the first quarterback in NFL history to sustain that kind of dual-threat dominance. Today, we'll explore how this unprecedented skill set reshaped the position and why, despite never reaching a Super Bowl, Cunningham's legacy might outshine players already enshrined in the Hall of Fame. To understand Randall Cunningham's impact, we need to look at what NFL quarterbacks were expected to be in the 1980s. The position came with a rigid job description: stand tall in the pocket, scan the field, and deliver the ball with precision. This wasn't just a preference, it was doctrine. Quarterbacks who strayed from this model weren't considered serious contenders for sustained success. The NFL had its quarterback mold, and teams weren't interested in breaking it. The 1980s NFL landscape featured quarterbacks who exemplified this traditional approach. Dan Marino orchestrated the Dolphins' offense with lightning-quick release and surgical accuracy, while Joe Montana commanded the 49ers with chess-master precision, both dissecting defenses from the security of their offensive lines. These pocket passers dominated headlines, MVP awards, and Super Bowl appearances, reinforcing the narrative that championship quarterbacks won games with their arms, not their legs. This thinking permeated every level of the league. Scouts evaluated college prospects primarily on arm strength, accuracy, and decision-making within the pocket. Mobility was considered a nice bonus, something that might help avoid an occasional sack, but nothing to build an offense around. Quarterbacks who relied on running ability were labeled as undisciplined, lacking the patience for progressions or the courage to stand against pressure. Coaches actively reprogrammed mobile college quarterbacks. The wisdom dictated that running quarterbacks couldn't survive the physical punishment of the pro game. The choice was clear: adapt to the pocket passer model or prepare for a short career. This philosophy was enforced through playbook design, practice repetitions, and game day play calling that emphasized traditional drop-back passing. The Eagles followed the same script with Cunningham in 1985. Head coach Buddy Ryan attempted to mold him into a conventional pocket passer, reflecting the league-wide reluctance to embrace quarterback mobility as a primary weapon. During an early practice session, Cunningham's instinct to escape collapsing pockets rather than throw into coverage frustrated Ryan, who repeatedly demanded, "Stay in there and make the throw." Defensive schemes revealed how unprepared the NFL was for Cunningham. Defenses practiced containing quarterbacks within the pocket, building walls rather than anticipating escape routes. Pass rushers pursued direct paths, never expecting the quarterback to become a primary running threat. Linebackers and defensive backs focused on coverage, rarely accounting for quarterback runs beyond occasional scrambles. Talent evaluators struggled to categorize Cunningham when he entered the NFL. Here was a quarterback who doubled as a punter at UNLV, a combination that confused scouts who preferred specialists. His college highlights featured both perfect spirals and jaw-dropping runs, leaving teams uncertain about how to utilize his diverse abilities. What made Cunningham revolutionary was his refusal to conform. While the Eagles initially restricted him to the pocket, his natural instincts took over when plays broke down. During a 1987 game against the Giants, Cunningham escaped 3 defenders who had him seemingly trapped, reversed field, and completed a 40-yard pass, a moment that showcased how his improvisation created opportunities defenses hadn't prepared for. Cunningham's playing style rewrote the rules of quarterback play. He introduced a dimension that defensive coordinators had never needed to account for: a quarterback equally dangerous passing or running. His success forced teams to reconsider what a quarterback could be. By refusing to abandon his natural mobility, Cunningham demonstrated that quarterbacks could win with both arms and legs. This revolution came with physical consequences. The NFL's rules and protections weren't designed for quarterbacks beyond the pocket. The punishment Cunningham absorbed would have broken most players, and the worst was yet to come. The 1986 Eagles team welcomed Cunningham to his first season as the primary starter with what could generously be called a rebuilding offensive line. In reality, what they gave their young quarterback was more like a revolving door of human turnstiles. The protection up front was historically terrible. What followed was a 16-game demonstration of human endurance that would become the foundation of Cunningham's career. In just his second NFL season, Cunningham found himself thrust into the starting role behind an offensive line that offered all the protection of wet tissue paper. At 23 years old, with a slender 6 feet 4 inches frame that had yet to fill out completely, Cunningham looked physically unprepared for what awaited him. NFL defensive linemen, some outweighing him by 100 pounds, must have seen the young quarterback as easy prey. The Eagles' front office appeared to have committed football malpractice by leaving their promising young talent so exposed. What happened next bordered on football torture. Game after game, Cunningham absorbed punishment that would have sent most quarterbacks to the sideline, then to the hospital, and finally to a career in broadcasting. The Chicago Bears sacked him 7 times in one contest. The Giants dropped him repeatedly. The Washington defense treated him like a personal tackling dummy. Yet week after week, Cunningham peeled himself off the turf, adjusted his shoulder pads, and trotted back to the huddle. The physical toll was staggering. Cunningham faced pressure on nearly every dropback, getting hit approximately once every 5.5 attempts throughout the entire season. This was systematic defensive assault, turning each Sunday into a battlefield where Cunningham fought not just opposing defenses, but the very limits of human endurance. By season's end, Cunningham had been sacked 72 times, an average of 4.5 times per game. Every weekend, fans witnessed him buried beneath multiple defenders on at least 4 separate occasions. This brutal mathematics, 72 sacks across 16 games, created a record so extreme it would stand for 19 years until David Carr broke it in 2002. But while Carr's career never recovered from his traumatic season with the expansion Texans, Cunningham's response to punishment revealed extraordinary resilience. While most quarterbacks subjected to such treatment develop happy feet, that nervous tendency to rush throws or flee clean pockets, Cunningham maintained his composure. Quarterbacks who absorb a fraction of that punishment often see their mechanics deteriorate and their confidence shatter. Cunningham's ability to withstand this trial by fire without developing crippling habits transformed him instead. Teammates from that era described Cunningham's resilience with reverence. They marveled at his ability to bounce back after devastating hits that would end drives, games, or careers for other players. After blindside shots that left the sideline wincing, Cunningham would simply adjust his helmet, clap his hands, and call the next play, psychological warfare against his own instinct for self-preservation. This relentless physical punishment became the forge that shaped Cunningham's unique playing style. He didn't develop fear, he developed adaptation. While conventional quarterback coaching emphasized standing tall in the pocket, Cunningham learned that survival required escape. His footwork evolved from necessity. He became a master at sensing pressure, identifying escape routes, and turning broken plays into opportunities. Cunningham's survival demonstrated a level of toughness that formed the foundation of his career. This baptism by fire created a quarterback unlike anything the NFL had seen before. The league would soon discover that the punishment meant to break Cunningham had instead created something far more dangerous, a fully realized dual-threat quarterback who would soon earn a nickname that perfectly captured his revolutionary abilities. The 1986 season would have broken most quarterbacks. For Cunningham, it was merely an apprenticeship. When he emerged from that season of punishment, he brought with him a playing style that redefined what a quarterback could be. Cunningham transformed mobility into a primary weapon, one that defenses had no answer for. By 1987, Cunningham had evolved from battered novice to offensive nightmare. His playing style combined elite passing with unprecedented rushing skills, creating a threat NFL defenses had never encountered. The traditional pocket passer model focused on throwing the ball from a set position. Cunningham's game attacked from multiple angles, forcing defenders to account for possibilities they'd never needed to consider before. NFL defensive coordinators faced an uncomfortable reality when game planning against Philadelphia. They had no established blueprint for containing a quarterback who could throw for 300 yards or run for 100 in any given game. The entire foundation of NFL defense, rushing the passer, covering receivers, filling running lanes, assumed the quarterback would either be throwing or handing off. Cunningham collapsed these distinctions, creating a third option that defenses weren't built to stop. His statistical profile between 1987 and 1990 told the story of a player operating beyond positional boundaries. Cunningham led the Eagles in rushing yards in multiple seasons, an achievement almost unheard of for a quarterback. While running backs typically accumulated 20 to 25 carries per game, Cunningham's rushing production came from far fewer attempts. His ability to turn broken plays into first downs transformed Philadelphia's offense from predictable into a volatile force defenses chased like a ghost, visible one moment, gone the next. Cunningham's highlight reel plays were revolutionary demonstrations of quarterback possibilities. During a Monday Night Football game against the Bills, Bruce Smith, one of history's greatest defensive players, closed in for what looked like a certain sack. In a breathtaking display of agility, Cunningham ducked under Smith's tackle attempt and delivered a 95-yard touchdown pass to Fred Barnett. ABC commentator Dan Deerdorf called it a big-time play, understating what was actually a redefinition of quarterback potential when traditional options disappeared. His physical attributes created unsolvable matchup problems. At 6 feet 4 inches and 212 pounds, Cunningham possessed both the frame to see over defenses and the strength to break tackles. His sprinter's speed turned containment breakdowns into explosive gains, while maintaining a powerful and accurate throwing arm even while on the move, a combination that destroyed traditional defensive assignments. This dual-threat capability generated confusion among defenders. Linebackers froze when facing Cunningham, caught between stopping the run or dropping into coverage. Defensive backs faced similar impossible choices: maintain coverage on receivers while Cunningham scrambled, or abandon coverage to tackle him. Coordinators developed specific Cunningham containment strategies that assigned a spy defender just to track his movements. This dedicated resource came at enormous cost, weakening coverage or run defense and creating opportunities for other Eagles playmakers. The 1990 season represented the peak of Cunningham's powers: 3,466 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 942 rushing yards, and 5 rushing touchdowns. This production earned him MVP honors, All-Pro recognition, and the nickname the Ultimate Weapon. The label acknowledged that Cunningham represented an offensive threat that existing defensive systems weren't designed to counter. Cunningham didn't simply add running to conventional quarterbacking, he merged the skills into entirely new possibilities. Without knowing it, he created the prototype for a new generation of quarterbacks who would build on his foundation. By dominating games with both arm and legs, Cunningham was unwittingly drawing the blueprint for the future of football. While Cunningham redefined the quarterback position on Sundays, a generation of young football players watched their televisions in awe. Kids playing backyard football suddenly wanted to be the scrambling quarterback instead of the stationary passer. In living rooms across America, future NFL stars saw Cunningham doing things they'd been told quarterbacks simply couldn't do. The revolution was being televised, and its impact would reshape football for decades to come. Despite Cunningham's individual brilliance, the football establishment maintained its skepticism. His highlight reel plays and statistical dominance couldn't fully overcome the entrenched belief that championship teams needed traditional pocket passers. Critics pointed to Philadelphia's playoff shortcomings as evidence that Cunningham's style might produce spectacular moments but couldn't deliver championships. Yet as defenses struggled to contain him, the flaws in this conventional thinking became increasingly apparent. Cunningham's performance revealed how deeply traditional quarterback models were embedded in football philosophy, and how ready that philosophy was for evolution. Michael Vick epitomizes Cunningham's direct influence. Selected first overall in the 2001 NFL Draft, Vick grew up with posters of Cunningham on his bedroom walls, studying his every move. "Randall Cunningham was my idol," Vick once recalled. His voice filled with reverence. "Watching him play gave me permission to be myself on the field. When my coaches tried changing my style, I remembered how Randall stayed true to his gifts." This generational influence expanded the imagination of countless young quarterbacks about what was possible. The seeds Cunningham planted took years to fully bloom in NFL offensive systems. Gradually, offensive coordinators began designing plays that intentionally leveraged quarterback mobility rather than accepting it merely as a fallback option. The read option and run-pass option offenses that emerged in the 2000s descended directly from what Cunningham had demonstrated decades earlier, turning quarterback mobility from a last resort into a primary strategic advantage. Lamar Jackson's 2019 MVP season represented the full realization of Cunningham's vision. Jackson's campaign, featuring over 3,100 passing yards and 1,200 rushing yards, showcased a team fully committed to building around a dual-threat quarterback. The Baltimore Ravens designed their entire offense to maximize Jackson's skills, validating what Cunningham had demonstrated years earlier. Modern NFL quarterbacks have built upon Cunningham's foundation in diverse ways. Patrick Mahomes creates off-platform throwing opportunities through scrambling. Josh Allen uses his size and strength on designed runs while maintaining pocket passing ability. Russell Wilson extends plays with elusiveness while maintaining downfield vision. These players represent a Cunningham-inspired hybrid approach, quarterbacks who win games with conventional passing but pressure defenses with their mobility. The NFL's quarterback evaluation process has transformed since Cunningham's era. Teams actively seek dual-threat quarterbacks rather than converting them to pocket passers. Athletic ability has become a primary trait teams covet. College quarterbacks who might have been asked to change positions in earlier eras now find NFL teams building offenses around their unique skills, a development tracing directly to Cunningham's influence. The success of today's mobile quarterbacks vindicates Cunningham's approach. Players like Jackson, Mahomes, and Allen have achieved individual accolades while leading teams to championships, refuting the notion that mobile quarterbacks can't win at the highest level. With such profound impact on football's evolution, Cunningham's legacy extends beyond his impressive statistics. His true impact lies in how he transformed the game itself. Cunningham broke the mold of quarterback play and created a new one that continues to shape the NFL today. Randall Cunningham was a revolutionary force who absorbed unprecedented punishment to forge a completely new quarterback archetype. The 72 sacks he survived in 1986 would have destroyed most careers, but Cunningham used that experience to transform the position forever. His absence from the Pro Football Hall of Fame remains puzzling. His Hall of Fame monitor score of 55.80 falls below average for enshrined quarterbacks, yet his revolutionary impact transcends these metrics. Cunningham's legacy echoes across NFL stadiums today as modern quarterbacks break the pocket and weaponize their legs. His ultimate triumph wasn't championship rings, but reshaping football's DNA, a transformation that changed the quarterback position for generations to come. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and check out more of our content right here.